everybody, it's FarmSim Guy here, hope you're all doing well. Today we are looking at a monster of a map. This is Spring Creek, North Dakota by AFB Mapping. Hello everybody, and welcome to Spring Creek. Now if you remember very early on after Farming Simulator 22 came out, we got a 16x map from AFB Mapping down there in Argentina, and he delivered us Hastings, North Dakota, and it was one of the first maps actually for FS22, and it was his very first map. Really went for it with a big scale map. We actually used it as one of our community servers for a very long time, and in fact the guys have done a killer job on it, over 5,000 hours of time on that map in just a few months. And this is his new map, Spring Creek, again up there in North Dakota, but the difference between Hastings, North Dakota and this is that this is a 12 kilometer by 12 kilometer square map, which makes it a 36x map, and I can't begin to tell you how big it is. So let's just quickly jump into the PDA and give you an idea for just the scale of this. So there we are down in the bottom right hand corner where we start, and already you can see 179, 191 fields are showing just in this corner here. Now let me just zoom out a little bit and it will give you an idea for just how big this is. This is based on a real location. As you can see, the PDA in the background there is of a real satellite image. It uses real DEM data as well for the terrain. But look, we're just going to keep going for a bit. And there you go. There's your full map. It is absolutely huge. And I love these fields. I love the size of them. I love the detail. I love all the little gaps within them as well. It's a really, really nicely laid out map. I mean, talk about variety of field shapes and sizes. The load time is quite slow. You've got to bear in mind there is a massive amount of data being shipped around in here, but I would say 383 here is one of the biggest on the map. I think that's around about 164 hectares, and I think the smallest is field 207, which I can't even find at the moment, which is around about 1.4 hectares. So lots and lots of variety of field shapes and sizes. I mean, let's be honest, this is a little bit of an experimental map. It is so big. I think if it'll run on a server, it would be brilliant to see it on a server, because the amount of space here for multiple players to do their own thing, but also interact with each other, would be fantastic. So we'll take a little bit of a tour. I'm not obviously going to drive around the map because it is just colossal. Now, Spring Creek is here on the map, just in the middle here, just off centre there. It does have a couple of productions on the map, but in essence, this is a pretty bare map. All these points that you can see around here are flat bottom bins or silos for selling things. So you can see there's lots and lots of sell points or storage points around. So you've got the option all over the map to do whatever you like. Again, like I said, brilliant for multiplayer. There's buying stations as well for various things as well, dotted around the map. But really it's the fields and it's the scale of it that are impressive. So what we'll do, we'll jump in a truck and we'll just take a little drive around this bottom corner. I want you to understand just how long it's going to take you to get from A to B with this map. So what we'll do, we'll jump out, we'll get a truck organised, and we will take a little spin. And what better truck to use than the Ford from Northwest Mods and Edits. So let's jump in this. I'll put a link to this in the description as well, should you not already have it. And if you haven't, why not? But we'll head out of here and we will hang a right and we'll head into the map just for a little while. So let's just get our bearings as I pull out onto the road here. So there we are, bottom corner. We're about to head along to here. So let's head along to the second junction there, and just see how far that takes us to give you an idea of time. Now I will say, performance-wise, it is not bad at all. We're sitting around about 50 frames per second here, and it stays pretty stable at that. And now I do have a relatively powerful computer. I don't have a rocket ship, but I do have a relatively powerful computer. But as you can see here, even moving at speed, the frame rate is sitting pretty constant there. And obviously if you're moving a little bit slower in a tractor, you might gain a few more frames as well, which is nice to see. And it gives you an idea for some of the fields and the sizes of the fields here. Now that there, over on our right, is field 178 down there. So as you can see, relatively, I would say, medium-sized, maybe even slightly on the small side for the fields. But look at it. It just goes on for quite a while there, doesn't it? So definitely... definitely impressive field sizes. And here's our first junction. And again, the roads just go on for miles. I mean, the map just goes on for miles and miles and miles. And that's what's really nice about it. I think it's a real challenge to play. I think it will be brilliant. Like I said, for groups of people, I mean, crikey, if you want to tackle it on your own, go for it. You're a braver man than me. But it's fantastic to see somebody just experimenting with the game, seeing how they can push it and how they can do things a little bit differently. So there we go, past another little farm, small holding. All of the buildings can be removed, just for the record as well. So you don't have to go and mess around in Giant's Editor if you want to remove things. In fact, let's just jump in here and spin round and get rid of a farmhouse, say. There we go. So nice from that perspective that you can remove stuff that's on the map if you want to and add your own stuff in. Just a nice, easy way of doing things. But we'll move on from there, and here's our first junction. Now, I don't know how long we've been driving there. Maybe a couple of minutes. I know we stopped and looked at fields and stuff. But we get to here at the junction. And where we've driven on the map is probably, I would say, just less than a quarter of the way across. So you can imagine how big this map is. And then you've got this huge expanse of grassland ahead of you here. Look, it just runs for miles. I haven't got my view distance set very high. But as you can see, it runs all the way to the clump of trees over there. There's a couple of grain bins over there as well. Let's jump up to here and have a little look at Spring Creek, just so you've seen it. And other than that, we'll do a tour of a few fields. We'll have a look at some of the grain bin areas, some of the little field setups. So there's a nice little clump of small fields there, maybe nice to start there. And again, down here, there's little smaller fields or sections of fields, strip fields as well, to have a look at. So let's have a look at some of those. So here we are, just heading into the town of Spring Creek. We have a big BGA there, should you need it. We've got this huge field of corn just to a side on our left here. The landscaping that he's done is very nice too. He's changed the colour of the trees, slightly darkened them off so they're a little bit more in keeping with the area. But there is our big grain sell point, the big co-op, the Spring Creek co-op. We've got punters walking around the town as well, which is nice to see. We've got a few houses. We've got a bakery just here. I mean, it is a small town. I'm getting a small town vibe from it. But there's houses, there's life here. Very small rural farming community. We head back out of the town here. Follow these roads. There is limitations, as you can see, the little steps in the at the side of the road here. There's a limitation there just purely because of the size and scale of the map. But it is what it is, right? So I had a little bit of a challenge over the last few maps that I've given where people say you shouldn't be reviewing maps if they're not perfect. But actually, I don't think it's my job to tell you what you should and shouldn't play. I think, you know, the decision is yours. If I can show you the map and it piques your interest and makes you want to check it out, I think I've done my job there. You know, if you play it and decide it's not for you, no bother, move on. We're getting plenty of maps released at the moment, so that is your prerogative. But, you know, I think my job is to show you what's available and for you to decide what you want to do with it. And if I know a lot of people love massive maps, certainly I know my community, like I said, have been playing North Dakota, the Hastings version of this map for the last few months and absolutely killing it. We've almost had people playing constantly 24/7 on that server, and I don't mean 1 or 2 people, I mean, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 people sometimes playing in one go. So really nice to see that it piqued people's interest and made people interested enough to keep playing it. Again, here's some areas, just a couple of grain bins here, but space to build your own farm as well, and the whole map is dotted with these. So again, the scope is huge. You could start small, you could go big. I mean, you could literally, you know, have $100 million farm, throw all the best machinery at it, and you'd still have a ton of work to do because the fields are absolutely massive. It is precision farming ready and anhydrous ready. So there we go. Let's purchase the soil information for field 383, which is going to come in at a whopping $367,000. It uses the base soil map at the moment. There you go. But he is talking about potentially adding a custom one in the future. Now, what we might do here is we might just run a tractor from one end of this field to the other and just see how long that takes us. Well, I think it would have been remiss of me to get anything other than the big bud for a map this size, and we've got the Seed Hawk and anhydrous tank from Forward Agricultural modding here as well. We're going to fill those with seed, and we're going to fill it with anhydrous, and we're going to take it for a spin one length of this field, and we'll stick a timer on it and see how long it takes. Okay, we actually did one run there just to make sure everything was working okay. I'd actually put soybeans in which don't need anhydrous, so that wasn't very clever of me. So we've switched to sorghum. As you can see, the anhydrous is going down. If we jump to the map, you can see we've got a strip there where we have managed to put the anhydrous down. What we'll do is we'll run it back now with the stopwatch and see just how long it takes. So there you have it. Just as we run to the end there, we are looking at just over 5 minutes per pass. Now remember, that is with the big bud as well, and that is doing 11 miles an hour. If you're in a slightly different tractor, probably sitting at closer to 6 miles an hour or 7 miles an hour, it's going to take you longer, and it is a big field. So bear that in mind. Now this is probably one of the biggest fields on the map. There are a few quite like it, but yeah, bear that in mind. It's going to take you time to get through stuff on here. Now, I'm sure the question around Courseplay and is it Courseplay friendly will be cropping up for some of you. And the quick answer is yes, it is. Some of the load times, however, are long for the big fields. They are colossal size fields, so bear that in mind. But as you can see here, I've gone to a slightly smaller field here just so I can show you that it works relatively well, is to just quickly put one headland in there and generate that fieldwork course, and we should be ready to go almost instantly. So there you go. You can see it's generated that with no issues at all. Like I said, on the bigger fields, it can take up to a couple of minutes, so be mindful of that when you're setting up your Courseplay courses. But there you go. So there you have it. Just a very quick overview, really. This is still in development. AFB is putting his finishing touches to it and tidying it up, making sure that he's making sure that all the errors are removed from it as much as he can. Remember, it is an experimental size of map. Nobody's putting out maps this big other than the guys at PMC, so this is a big undertaking. Like I said, it's not going to be for everybody, but I also think there's a lot of people who are going to be very interested in playing this. So there you go, there's the information for now as I have it. I'll put the details to AFB's page and how you can download this map when it is available from his itch page. So until then, keep an eye on his information, and hopefully we will see this very soon. I can't wait to get this on a multiplayer server and see how it performs. So from me for now, the FarmSim guy, I hope you found that interesting. I always enjoy showing you things that are really pushing the envelope of what is capable or possible in a farming simulator, and I think this does a really good job of doing that. So congratulations AFB, I think you've done a great job pulling this together. It is huge. It is a massive map. So if you like massive maps and big fields, this could well be something you want to get your sleeves rolled up and stuck into when it comes out. But until then, from me for now, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye for now.